Hello, I'm 8mm Mauser Man, and I'm here to let you know that this video is going to have a slightly different format than the other videos in this series if you have been paying attention to that. So one of the things that I decided early on was that if I had two ammos that were very similar but they were different, I was going to do two separate videos on them. For example, with that Yugoslavian ammo from a few weeks ago, I did one video for the 1978 surplus, one video for the 1979 surplus. Because I had slightly different results, I decided to do two separate videos, even though they were the same ammo and just 1 year apart. Today is something similar. I have two ammos, and they are the Chinese ammo from 1952. One is from factory L451, and one is from factory L791. Now, you may think, why are you doing two videos on this? They sound the exact same, but the bullet shapes are different, the powder measurements are different, and I had different results on the range. So, I decided to do two separate videos on this ammo. However, instead of splitting it up, this ammo and this ammo, I decided to split it up, the shooting section, and then after that, the pulling section, where I talk about the bullets and the powders and their weights and all that kind of stuff. So this is just going to be the shooting section for both of those ammos, and I recommend you watch them all the way through, because both had some interesting results. So first, I have Chinese ammo from factory 451. This is a red sealant on it. Hangfire 2715. Extracted hard. Let me see if there's anything. Nope, primer and stuff looks normal. Hangfire. It says 2715 again. Make sure that wasn't an error. Hangfire 2690. Hangfire 2704. These are extracting a little hard. Could just be because they're dirty. Okay, light hangfire that time, 2695. All right, next clip. Hangfire 2718. Hangfire 2685. Hangfire 2692. Hangfire 2696. Hangfire 2697. Every round fired on the first primer strike, but it did have serious problems with hangfires. We're going to shoot one more since we may have failed to catch one of the rounds. .2709. Hangfire. Right now we have the Chinese ammo from packed factory 791. Let's see how this shoots. we're gonna recock the striker. That is a definite primer strike, but the primer went in instead of firing. Okay, that one fired on time. 2710. .2709, also fired correctly. .2770. .2767. All right, next clip. Oh, those just didn't want to feed. Some of these rounds are dirty, so they're binding. .2757. Okay, did not fire. Okay, we're gonna try this one again. Okay. .2768. .2753. .2748. So we're gonna shoot 2 more rounds of that. .2742. .2746. 2 rounds out of 7 didn't fire. However, every round that did fire, fired immediately. I told you guys that those would be some interesting results. So let's talk about the velocities first. With the Chinese ammo from factory L451, the velocity low was 2,685, and the velocity high was 2,718. The total spread there is 33 feet per second, so as far as the consistency of the velocity goes, very good. Our average was 2,700.1. And so next we're going to talk about the velocity with the ammo from factory L791. The low was 2,709 and the high was 2,770. There the spread is right around 61 feet per second between the 10 rounds that we chronographed. The average is 2,747. So those are about 50 feet per second apart, and that shouldn't be too much of a concern. As we've talked about, that can be the difference between shooting ammo in the morning and shooting it at noon. I would also like to note that both of those are very close to the Romanian ammo, which had an average of 2,700.4. So as far as the velocity goes, this is very good ammo. The reason I compare this to the Romanian ammo is because all of it is light ball, meaning that the grain weight for the bullet is about 155 grains, but we'll talk more about that next week. So now that we're done talking about velocities, let's talk about our data when we shot the rounds. The ammo from factory L451 had 100% of the rounds be hang fires, meaning that I would pull the trigger, and after I would pull the trigger, the round would fire. None of them were extreme, as in over 2 or 3 seconds, but I had some where you can audibly hear a click and then audibly hear a bang. Some of those were much shorter, some of them were a little longer, but none of them were extreme. Now with the ammo from factory L951, 83% of the rounds fired correctly, as in pulled the trigger, boom right away, and shot down range. And 2 of the 12 rounds that I fired were duds, meaning that I pulled the trigger, didn't shoot at all. Now, one of the things that I wanted to do was to see if I could shoot it again once I redid the striker, and neither of them fired the second time, meaning that those are just bad rounds. I'll show you a picture of what the back of those rounds look like, because the primer seems to have sunken into the round rather than staying firm against the surface. So I think that that may have had something to do here. It's almost like the powder became loose and was sent in rather than staying on the surface and getting hit. As I've already said, this is going to be part 1 of 2. So next week I'm going to pull bullets and show you all that data. I'm going to weigh out powder and see what each round is loaded with and how consistent all of that information is. I will also give a full opinion on using this ammo as a shooter and as a collector, but for right now, let's talk about the information that we have. So if you're going to decide if you want to shoot this, I think your major question would be, do I want to deal with duds or hang fires depending on which round you're talking about? Dealing with duds is you can still shoot accurately, you can still, do those types of things with a gun. However, occasionally you'll need to pause your range session, because if you have a dud, the safest thing to do is to aim it down range for 30 seconds to make sure that it's not an extreme hang fire before you open it up, and either try and shoot it again or just discard the round. And with hang fires, it's really hard to shoot accurately because you can have your sights lined up, you can be on target, and then by the time it actually fires, you've shifted slightly. So it's hard to get super accurate and precision shooting with ammo that has a lot of hang fires. But that is for you to decide. This ammo often is cheap because of these problems. So if that's something that you're willing to deal with, I would have no problem buying this ammo. It's fairly cheap, it's still somewhat decent, and it shoots pretty light since it is that light ball ammo. If this video was helpful to you, please like, subscribe, and share it. I'm going to continue this series for a little while because I have several more ammos to test, and several that I don't quite have yet. Some of those are listed down below if you want to help me out. I hope to see you all next week when I do part 2 of this video.